What is that? What is that? What is it?
They're eating her. Well, that wouldn't do at all.
Oh, no, not the fish!
And then they're going to eat me.
This isn't plans 1 through 8 from outer space.
Not the fish!
This is plan 9.
Oh, hi, Mark.
This is the one that worked.
You're tearing me apart, Lisa! Exterminate all man animals.
I'll have my revenge, and Death Stalker too.
I don't think you're pretty anymore.
All right, round 2.
All right.
For
Let's
us.
make this a whole day. Let's watch another bad movie, record another podcast.
I mean, I
We'll
wouldn't be
podcast
against
making
it.
machines.
Yeah, we could have like a whole month's worth knocked out in.
A day. Boom.
I mean, it's not the worst idea with how busy we are. But yeah, welcome back. Well, not really welcome back. I mean, for us, because we're this
welcome
is
back.
Number
they might
2
have
for us.
listened to another episode, a previous episode.
That's true, but at least a week has gone by between
And now
the
you're
last
back.
episode and now. We've just experienced a week and an hour and a half. Something like we went through a temporal anomaly.
Gotta listen to our last podcast to catch that reference.
Oh, yeah, you do. Welcome to Bad Movie Date Night, the podcast in which we take a serious look at bad films and genre films, and hopefully we give them the credit that they deserve. I'm Nigel from ajourneyintofilm.com once again, and with me is my fabulous wife, Kaitlyn,
Hey.
whose eyes have started to glaze over a little
Oh,
bit. This
no.
may have been a bad idea. This week, we are wrapping up our horror comedy series, in a way, with the 1983 film Frightmare, directed by Norman Thaddeus Vane. Kaitlyn, this was not a funny movie.
No.
And I don't think I'm ever going to trust IMDb ever again
Oh,
for
what a
their
surprise.
genre recommendations of movies.
What a surprise.
I was so excited that I had found an additional horror comedy for us after our special fell apart. And I was excited that we already owned it. And then we watched it,
Joke's on you.
and it was not funny.
No.
I read somewhere that maybe it was a spoof on horror movies or like a little bit of a satire, but that
Even
was
so.
lost on
Even
me.
if it wasn't funny.
Correct. Now, I liked this movie.
Crickets.
That's you did not.
It was okay.
That's
No,
it.
okay, I like parts of the movie. I felt like it moved really slow.
It did feel a little slow at time.
So, at time. I think it was just too slow for me, but I mean, I liked the premise. I liked the main actor.
The old man,
Yes.
Ferdy Mayne.
Yes.
Yeah, I liked him. He was fun.
Yeah. So I liked him.
Well, this movie was interesting because it has 2 connections to Ghoulies, movie that we talked about 2 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what they are?
No.
First of all, the main college student, Saint, which, by the way, is a horrible name.
Yes.
I don't know if they were trying to say something with that. Was that a popular name at some point? I don't know. Horrible name. I mean, when the girl even screamed his name, it sounded strange.
Yes.
Played by Luca Bercovici, the director of Ghoulies,
Yes. Oh, okay.
and Scott Thompson, who played Bobo. He was the stoner in Ghoulies.
Well, look at that.
Yeah. I also have a lot more questions about this movie after finishing it than were answered.
Well, what are your questions about necessarily?
Well, I guess they answered where the mansion was. That took a while to figure out. But like, did he have plans to come back from the grave? I mean, maybe he did. Like, would he have come back if that psychic lady didn't try to summon him? Why was his crypt rigged up to like kill people?
I think he did that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure he did.
Set that up.
But like, who signed off on that? Like, who?
If you're that wealthy, you don't need anyone to sign off.
I guess. I mean, who are they going to arrest? Well, I guess maybe the person who made the building. Like, hey, you made this death trap. You're going to jail.
Mm-hmm.
Why was there a female voice whenever he was going after people?
Okay, that is a valid question.
Why was his hair sometimes white and why was it sometimes black?
Also, good.
Why didn't Meg just leave sooner? Is there actually a horror film society out there somewhere with a whole mansion to themselves?
Yeah, I want to join a horror film society that gets a whole mansion.
Yeah, that would be frickin' sweet.
Right?
Did you notice, though, that the mansion that was the horror film society was the same mansion that he pushed that guy off of the balcony at the beginning?
Yeah. They
That
only
was
had
funny.
one filming location.
It wouldn't surprise me. Why was there a secret room in the basement, and why did Saint put Meg in there?
Right. I feel like that is a very concerning question.
Yeah, and like clearly she didn't know about it because she didn't check it before when she went into the basement.
Right.
And also, why did he say things like, I get when he said take 19 whenever he pushed that guy off the building, because that was kind of a clever like one-liner. But then why did he say take 20 when he killed that other director guy who had nothing to do with his commercial?
He was counting the number of people he was killing.
But then he didn't do it anymore.
Well,
He stopped.
you know, after 20, it's fine.
So
Round number. You can. Really, if you've killed 20 people, do you need to keep counting them?
But like he shot 18 takes of his commercial and then killed 2 people. It's not like he killed 20 people.
Well, he might have. You don't know.
I mean, maybe he like... Well, I was going to say maybe he like killed it on the takes, but that would have meant that he did a good job.
Right.
But, you know.
That was pretty good.
Also had a completely different understanding of where this movie was going to go.
Yes.
Where did you think it was going to go?
Well, considering I read the wrong movie description, very different. Very, very. I was like, when is this guy going to go away? We're going to focus on the lady. Like, I was just very confused.
Yeah, there is a 1974 film called Frightmare. This Frightmare was originally called The Horror Star. So
They probably should have left it like that because
yeah, I don't
then it wouldn't
know
confuse me.
at what point in time was it changed to Frightmare. That would be a question that I have that I was not able to find an answer for.
You know what's kind of sad though? Like, I really like the artwork for this movie. I think it's very like fun, and if I were to see this sitting on a movie shelf at like a video store, I'd be like, oh, I want to get this movie. It looks kind of campy and fun.
Hold on a second. I think you'll like you don't like this cover for The Horror Star?
That one's good too. I think this one looks more funny. Like, I think
It looks like a adventure of sorts.
yeah. Where
Whereas
like this
that
one
one-
kind of looks scary.
Yeah, I guess.
But I mean, it has good artwork nonetheless. Either way.
Yeah, this is another one that they used.
That makes
It's got
no
the
sense.
skull with the knife through it. Well, I mean, because like he's holding the skull up and he's coming back from the dead.
Yeah, but well, I guess yeah.
Yeah. So here's another question for you. So supposedly they originally wanted Christopher Lee to play Conrad Radzoff.
Okay.
How different do you think this movie would have been if they had gotten Christopher Lee?
I don't think it would have been very different.
Really?
I feel like Mayne,
Ferdy Mayne?
Freddie Mayne, he played this, I think, similar to how Christopher Lee would.
Yeah, I could agree with that. I think they did a good job. And I mean, they even used some old clips of Christopher Lee for Conrad's old films, which I thought was interesting.
Mm-hmm. I thought Freddie Mayne did a good job.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know who did a great job?
Who?
Crap, his name literally just fell out of my head. Jeffrey Combs.
Jeffrey Combs always does a great job.
Yeah, I feel like he really stole the show, even though he wasn't like even top 2 main characters. I mean, he lasted. He was like
He lasted to the bottom 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
One more fun fact for you: the cremation at the end was a real cremation.
Really?
Yeah.
Why did they feel like they needed to do a real cremation?
I think that was just the cheapest way for them to film that.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Like,
That
hey,
makes sense.
whenever you throw this box in there, can we
Can
film
I
it
film that?
and use it? Will the family sign off on this?
Do you think they got royalties?
Probably not.
No.
Yeah, so tell me what you liked and disliked about this movie, Kaitlyn.
Well, I enjoyed Freddie Mayne very much. I liked his character. I thought he was himself kind of funny. He was very I thought he was a good actor in the movie. I liked his storyline of just killing people who makes him mad or who say mean things
Who
about
disrespected him?
Yeah, he's just like dead. Boom. I don't really know why he killed all of the people in the film society though.
Because
That was lost on me.
Yeah.
So I didn't get that part of the movie. So I guess the parts that I didn't like about the movie was just that there was lots of things that like I didn't really understand.
Yeah, I think that's a valid...
I just had a lot of questions. But I thought it was a good like story idea. Well, I love how he almost dies.
See, I didn't like that.
You didn't like that?
No.
How he almost died and then he like suffocated that Wolfgang?
Yeah, I didn't care for that. I thought it was... I thought dead should be dead. And then, but then he
I
like
thought it set
came
it up
back and
pretty
like
well.
killed that person, and I thought, oh well, maybe he's just like not gonna die, but then he did die. But then I thought, whenever he started playing the tapes at his funeral, I was like, oh okay, this is gonna be a good old fashioned. Is he actually killing people from beyond the grave, or did he have this like elaborate ruse set up
Yeah.
to get back at those? But then he actually came back from the grave thanks to Psychic Lady, and it's all downhill from there.
Yeah. I don't know. I liked how he killed Wolfgang because I kind of feel like it set up what we were going to be watching.
I thought, well, before he started like killing people from beyond the grave, I was like, oh yeah, okay, that's cool. He's gonna get like revenge on all these people who hated him or whatever. I mean, like he seemed justifiably hateable
Yes.
in life. He seemed a little full of himself,
He did.
which is cool. A little bit of Sunset Boulevard up in there,
Yes.
or Hollywood Horror House if you know that reference. but then it like shifted, and I guess like he still killed people who disrespected him, but I don't know why Meg was allowed to live because she stabbed him. Like,
Well, but-
is it like a one and done? Like, if you defeat me in hand-to-hand combat, like
But what did the Film Society people do to him, really?
they stole his body.
Okay. It
You don't
seems
disrespect
like,
somebody's
no,
grave
it
like
seems
that.
like he wanted his body to be stolen, though.
I don't know if he wanted it to be stolen or if he think that it was going to happen. Was he so full of himself and that's why he had all those traps in his mausoleum?
I guess maybe, and shouldn't he be like flattered though that they were so obsessed with him? That's what he seemed to want everyone to feel about him, was an obsession and an admiration.
Right. And I guess if you steal his body, that's you're
not going to steal a body of somebody you don't like. I mean,
well,
I guess you could, but I don't know why
maybe
you would.
like if you needed if this is like a Frankenstein situation, like if you wanted the parts.
Yeah. Frankenhooker.
But if you really liked the person, you'd think that you would leave their body alone because they were dead. But he like wanted to be brought back from
Right.
He wanted to live on in death. But that was the point of the tapes. So why would he be mad that they took his body?
Right. See?
But would he even be aware that he took his body? I have more questions now.
I know. That's what so the whole middle chunk of the movie, not a fan. Beginning and end, liked it.
I feel like the beginning and end were part of two different movies, though.
Yes. They should have made that movie.
Which movie?
You think the beginning and end? No. I'm just talking about the end where he kills the lady with the wad of cash.
Oh, okay. See, I feel like that belongs with the beginning
That's
part
what
of the
I'm
movie.
saying.
Yeah, where he's killing people close to him.
Yes, that's what
for revenge.
Yeah. Like they should have made that movie.
Yeah. But then there's like a whole separate movie about him killing a bunch of kids who weekend at Bernie'd his body.
Right. Like the whole middle part of the movie, which I didn't like.
Yeah. I also didn't care for all of the smoke that filled the room whenever he killed people.
Right.
And the voices that kind of accompanied him, they were kind of annoying.
Yes, and not scary.
Yeah. I don't know what else to say.
Well, they should remake the movie.
The way that we tell them to.
Yes. Because
All right.
I actually do think that would be an interesting, like, he comes back, he gets revenge on those that he feels has wronged him.
Yeah, I feel like there is an interesting movie in here somewhere. But I feel like it got a little messy.
Yes. Which is disappointing.
So, how do we wrap up our horror comedy series by talking about this movie? Like, do you think that there was an attempt at some kind of satire in this? Because there's like the idea that they were so obsessed with this horror icon that they were willing to steal his body just to like party with him. And like, do we look up to horror stars too much? Are fans, which I mean, obviously comes from the term fanatic, is there, did they just take that to the extreme in this movie? And then they're like, well, shame on you. You're getting killed now. Like, was that what they were trying to do with it?
I don't know. Maybe. I was more, which I don't really say this is a spoof, but, and I don't even think this is accurate. It's just me. But I feel like the movie had more to say on, like those original monster characters.
Like the Universal and eventually kind of like the Hammer horror films.
Right. And that those people need to give up their stardom. And
Oh, so you think the movie was pointing the finger at like the Conrads of the world?
Yes.
Like, hey, move on.
Yes.
Like, there's
Make way for a new generation.
See, I don't know if that's necessary.
Like I said, it was just me. It's just because he and I think we watched something to that effect recently.
Yeah, what did we watch that was like that?
I was trying to think of it.
But I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, so maybe that was just kind of in my mind. So I was just kind of thinking, you know, it seemed that the director of the commercial that he was shooting in the beginning of the movie didn't seem to have the respect that maybe he still wanted for playing such a Dracula type role in history. And he seemed frustrated by that, but I feel like the movie was like, get over it, move on, you're going to die.
Mm-hmm.
But then they're like, no, I'm going to be Dracula forever type thing.
I could see that. I guess where that falls apart for me, and this is similar to what we were talking about, is like the whole like kind of middle section where he's killing the kids.
Well, I guess that would be he doesn't want someone to take.
He doesn't want someone to take up the mantle. He's so
Right.
obsessed with like living forever.
Yeah.
But if the movie was him, like with these elaborate traps,
Yeah.
and like maybe the kids were getting like okay, imagine he had built like the massive mausoleum and there was more than just like a car exhaust that was killing people.
Yeah.
Like, and they kept like stumbling into the traps and stuff. Then like, okay, I would get that. Like he's like, I'm gonna be remembered forever.
Yeah.
Like even in death, I'm gonna kill these people with like videotapes and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But then like the psychic is the one who brings him back from the dead.
Right.
Because they want to get his body back from the kids. So then it almost diminishes that idea. Like, it's not like he came back from his own accord.
Right.
But he did try to continue to be relevant with his videotapes.
Right.
So,
like I said, it was just kind of
no.
where my
I
brain was
think
going.
I think you're onto something. I just think that there might be two competing ideas there.
Yeah.
One, that's the movie's trying to comment on the fanaticism of fans, and two, about stars being unwilling to die.
Yeah, I feel like we see that more, especially in like horror films too.
Where like the horror films or the horror stars aren't willing to go down.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think the most famous of them, which we mentioned already, is Sunset Boulevard, which I know kind of falls into that like noir category, but it is kind of a horror movie at the same time because she crazy.
Yeah, definitely.
But Hollywood Horror House is a little bit more of a horror version of that story.
Mm-hmm.
I really wish I could remember the movie that they were like, I'm going to live forever or whatever. What was that? What was that? I mean, there's a little bit of that in House 2 where the, what's his face was like, I'm old and I'm back from the grave and I've been buried under there forever.
Yeah. Yeah, but that was a little different, I feel.
Yeah. So, I mean, was this a satire? Because I don't feel like it was directly. And then, like, is satire. Like, it wasn't funny satire. It was just maybe like a commentary then.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's
Right.
nothing funny about it.
Right.
It's not like they used
almost a little
humor
sad.
to. Yeah. I mean, I guess a little sad. I was actually mad that they were like, took his body and were like, we're going to go eat spaghetti with it.
Yeah, I meant more sad for him. Like that he didn't even really have peace beyond the grave because he was so obsessed with staying relevant.
Yeah. But if he didn't come back from the grave, who's to say whether he had peace or not?
I don't know. It didn't seem like it.
Well, yeah. I mean, we find out that he went to hell. But then, like, somehow he knew that he was in hell because of the videotapes.
But he was also on Earth, so I don't.
Yeah, it was not the most clear-cut explanation.
We're
for
probably
things.
making this like way more complicated too. It was probably literally about a movie where this guy comes back and kills people.
Yeah, I think that was like kind of bottom line. But also, maybe this movie is a secret masterpiece.
Maybe.
And it's just too lofty for us to figure it out.
I would not be surprised if this movie turned out to be a secret masterpiece.
Although Norman Thaddeus Vane and his, let's just be real, the movies he directed look like they fall more into the erotic thriller category.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't really hold those in the highest regard, even if I enjoy them a whole lot. So, well, let's do this. Let's jump into your dating corner.
You don't tell me what you liked and disliked?
Oh, I thought I had shared enough of that while you were talking, but I'll throw out some more specifics. I like Jeffrey Combs. I'll watch him in anything. I thought he did a good job. I liked half of the concept of this movie.
Yeah,
I mean, it was
Spot
like
on.
it was just incomplete, but it was also kind of muddled. So like I didn't care for that. Some of the kills were interesting.
I like the money one.
The money one was clever. I liked that. And I wish that there was like more of that type of killing in it.
Yeah. Like he just like cuts off Jeffrey Combs' head with a sword.
Yeah.
I mean, it was kind of comical that the head like rolled down the flight of stairs, turned a corner, rolled down the outside set of stairs and down the driveway a little bit to land in the yard.
Yeah,
but still not exciting death.
The head rolled obscenely far. And I mean, I guess maybe that was an attempt at levity, but I don't, in the moment, it didn't. And the girl that got killed by the coffin, like, just run down the next 2 stairs.
Right?
Like,
She kind of, you an idiot.
yeah, I mean, I don't want to say that she deserved that,
No,
but
but
I mean,
she-
she
come
was
on.
not smart in handling that situation.
No.
And I didn't love many of the actors apart from Ferdy and Jeffrey.
Yes.
I thought they
same.
were all pretty generic.
Yeah.
I mean, sorry, Luca. I mean, good job with Ghoulies, but
Right.
not this.
Right.
I mean, I guess like his wife and the psychic lady, but they were in it for seconds, if that.
Yeah.
The mansions were cool, like the sets were cool. Didn't like the
Absolutely.
fog with all the murders.
No.
I feel like the murders could have been like a little bit more clever. Like, what about this? Like, what if he had killed them based on like his old movies?
Yeah.
And they were like, "Oh snap! Like we're dying based on
Yeah.
Castle of Dracula Part 5 or
Right.
I don't know, something." They're like, "Remember when Johnson gets his head chopped off?" Oh, yeah, or something.
Yeah. That'd be a lot of fun.
I also kind of thought like once they stole the body and were having the spaghetti party that it was.
The spaghetti party.
I mean, that's what, like.
No, it was. It was just a weird like way to. Yeah.
Let me talk about this for a second. I was also really confused because it looked like they were invited to the funeral, but then they didn't go to the after party.
Yeah.
That was weird.
Yeah.
Like, wouldn't you want to go to that if you were invited because you're
Right.
part of the horror society?
Right.
I don't know, but
You're
it
so
just
obsessed.
seemed weird that they served spaghetti to him,
Yeah. Definitely.
and I definitely thought that when that girl talked about how she wanted to like hook up with him, I definitely thought that was going to play into how she died, but it did not.
Disappointing.
Little disappointing. All in all, I think I was disappointed by this movie.
Yeah.
I didn't not like it
Yeah. I think disappointment is the right word.
because I anticipated it going in so many different directions.
Mm-hmm.
But I think if I rewatch it, I would like it a lot better the second time.
Okay. Yeah, I think changing knowing what movie I'm getting into. Not thinking I was watching the 1970s one.
Yeah. I mean, it would have been better if this movie just kept the name The Horror Star.
Yeah.
Which I feel like is a more fitting title
Yes.
for
agreed.
it.
I'm not sure where Frightmare came from.
I would love to know where Frightmare came from,
Yeah.
and I should have done more research. All right, let's do this. Let's jump over to your dating corner because I want to end on us discussing what we've learned about our horror comedies.
All right. Dating advice. Don't date anyone who tells you, hey, let's dig up a dead body. Get out of that relationship.
Yeah, anyone who's into digging up dead bodies
Run.
has some past trauma that needs to be addressed before they can enter into a healthy relationship.
Run away from them. Also, if your boyfriend has a secret room in his house, run.
Yeah.
So fast.
I guess it's a good thing that he died so that she didn't have to break up with him
Right.
because he was starting to get a little abusive there at the end.
He was. Yes.
But to be fair, again, not saying that she deserved it. I don't know what she wanted at the end, and I don't know what his plan was at the end.
I have no idea.
There was a massive breakdown in communication between the two of them.
Yes.
And this is why Jeffrey Combs should have stayed around to put together a plan.
Right.
And then he could die so that they are like, we got to stick to the plan. Wait,
Right.
I don't know. I'm not going to tell someone how to make a movie because I've never made one. But if I had to speculate on some ways to tweak the plot, start there.
I like it. All right, here's my fun question. If you could dig up anyone from the grave, who would it be? And what would you do with them?
All right, okay. I know we brought this question up while we were watching it.
Mm-hmm.
And my immediate thought was, well, I don't want to dig up anyone who has been dead for a long time.
Right. That makes sense.
In fact, I feel like best case scenario would be like the movie where they're like dead and then they can dig him up like the next day.
Right.
So that in mind, I don't know who I would dig up.
Okay, what if you could dig up anyone, but they wouldn't look gross? They would look like Gramps from House 2.
That would be a difficult one. So, like, who would I be comfortable being around that looked like a zombie?
Right.
Do you have an answer?
Well, I was thinking about doing somebody like famous.
I was also thinking about, like, what famous person would I want to dig up?
But, like, I would just want to use them to, like, somehow use them to get me money. So, like, I was thinking...
How can I dig up this famous person so I become famous?
No, I don't want to be famous. I just want money. So, I would, like, maybe dig up Elvis and then, like, see if he had any money and then take it from him.
Now, you've stumbled on an interesting quandary. I would want to dig... Okay, I feel like there's two ways to look at this. You could either dig up someone famous that you either want to know...
Right.
Who died before your time, which for me, I think would be like Stanley Kubrick or something.
Yeah.
2, you could dig up someone famous and try to get money from them.
Yeah.
Or dig up somebody and figure out how they died, solve like a lifelong mystery. Like let's take Elvis for a second.
That's true.
Like, did he fake his death?
Right.
We could dig it up and we would know.
That's true.
Because he would either be like, who's Elvis? Or he'd be like, no, I'm Elvis. Let me go back to my coffin. And I'd be like, great. Can you just tell the rest of the world this so we can put this to bed?
Money, please.
Money, please.
Or Marilyn Monroe. That would be another good one.
I would not want to see her as a zombie, though.
Well...
I would want her to be...
You could solve her murder, though.
Normal. That would be... Okay, that valid question. Like, girl, did you mess up?
Right.
Like, is it because Dr. What's-His-Face was out of town?
Right.
Or, like, is this, like, JFK CIA nonsense?
Right.
That's what movie we should watch tonight, JFK.
Okay. JFK. FDR.
I don't remember the rest.
No, me either. Yeah. True American.
Yeah, so when we're not podcasting, our weekends pretty much consist of painting our house and watching movies. That's how we live our lives.
That's pretty much what we do.
We don't just watch bad movies in case...
Sometimes we watch good movies.
Sometimes.
But anyway, so I would be curious what other people's ideas were, they would dig up and why.
Yeah, I would be curious.
So
I'm trying to think of, like, are there any other... Like JFK, I feel like... I don't know what we could glean from him, though, about his death.
Right.
Like, did he know about, like, a secret plot against him?
Yeah, true.
That would be interesting. And,
John Benet Ramsey.
yeah, you could do, who killed you?
Yeah.
Be kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you don't want to wait for Wednesday's question, go ahead and shoot a comment our way.
Yes.
On the Instagrams or the Twitters, because we'd be really curious in knowing who would you want to dig up.
Yes, I want to know.
I feel like this is a super morbid question, but
kind of fun though.
yeah, I mean
Kinda
it's
fun.
interesting. It's kind of an alternate way of looking at who would you want to bring back from the dead.
Yeah.
But like, okay, here we go. Pushing Daisy's rules.
Yeah.
You touch them once, they come back from the dead.
Right.
You touch them again, donezo. Like, they're gone. They're dead.
You have
They're
to be
never
very
coming
careful.
back. Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to be extra careful. I feel like that'd be a good way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like you can't keep them around forever.
No, they have to go back.
They got to go back. And you know that somebody's going to fight you on that.
Right.
So, that's going to...
We'll put like a clause in there so that things don't get out of control.
That's the key.
That's the key.
Well, this was kind of a disappointing movie to end our horror comedy series on.
I know, we started so strong.
I know, we really did. Thankfully, the next two movies that we're doing are kind of transition movies, but it is part of another miniseries, one that we've already done before, but I found more entries that I feel like deserve... Well, it's not I found them. I found one entry that I feel like is deserving of being part of this series, and two that I just really want to talk about that are definitely horror comedies. So maybe they'll make up for it. But this is technically, for all intents and purposes, the end of our horror comedy series. And it's going out with a fizzle and not the bang that I had anticipated. So with that being said... Kaitlyn, like, what did we learn? Did we find the line between horror comedy and bad movies? Bad horror movies, specifically. I mean, there are tons of bad movies out there that are not comedies or cannot be mistaken for comedies.
I think I'm starting to understand what makes a horror comedy versus a bad movie. I think I'm starting to look at the lines that are being... written for the characters to say. I think I'm starting to pick up on some camera work that's done. So I think I'm starting to kind of identify those things and say, okay, this is where this director wanted the movie to go. I think it's supposed to be funny and not bad. But now that being said, I'm just confusing myself.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking about like Chopping Mall.
Yeah.
That's supposed to be a horror movie.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say... Yeah, I guess it's supposed to be a horror movie since it falls in that genre, but I think it was meant to be mostly serious.
Right. That's what I'm saying. It's supposed to be serious, but yet the dialogue says when she kills the last robot, have a nice day. I think that's funny, but maybe it's the lens through which I view the film.
Well, I think that with Chopping Mall specifically, like it's it's not like all horror movies are devoid of humor. Like, you can have moments of levity.
Right.
And so, like, I think of in Chopping Mall, like, the guy stealing the records under his shirt. Like,
Yeah.
that's funny.
Yeah.
Like, and you know that whoever shot that was trying to be funny with it.
Mm-hmm.
And the patron at the restaurant screaming, "Waitress, more butter."
Yeah.
Like, that was gross, but I think it was that specific moment was meant to be funny, along with Mary Warnoff and Paul, what's his face? I'm not going to remember his name.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just going to keep going with this. That there's stuff like that was put in it to be funny.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say that, like, the story overall, in the fact that those moments of levity are far and few between, point to it not really being a comedy.
That makes sense. Yeah, I could see that.
Like the death scenes are very serious.
Yeah.
And it's not like they're it's not like and there's a lot of moments in it that are meant to be sort of shocking. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yes.
So, I think you're onto something with, like, looking at the lines and the way the actors deliver it and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess, like, a follow-up question that I have for you, there are other podcasts out there that talk about bad movies.
Right.
And I don't think, and as we have discovered, I don't want to name any specific podcasts, their whole thing is, LOL, this movie's bad, we're going to make fun of it.
Mm-hmm.
But we've talked about movies that are the same on them. Chopping Mall being one of them,
Right.
and a couple others. Like, do you think that these people are misconstruing these movies for, like, these horror comedies as bad movies?
I do think so. Yes. I also don't think they're viewing them through the correct lenses. You can find something bad in any movie if you go into it with that expectation.
Yeah, I call it CinemaSins film criticism.
Right. So I think having a different lens in which you view film. I mean, I guess, like, this is a little off topic, but I guess kind of like what changed my heart about, like, not wanting to LOL at bad movies anymore was when we watched Spookies, one of our favorite films. And it's not, nowhere near deserving of an Academy Award.
It's not Apocalypse Now.
But the guy who made it was so passionate about it, and they really ruined his movie.
They kind of ruined his whole career.
Right. And that really broke my heart, and I felt for him, and I think that we should choose to view movies differently. Like, one, understanding, are they a horror film? Are they a horror comedy? Then secondly, when were they made? What was going on in that time in life to kind of shape this movie? And start looking at it through that lens.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you entirely. I mean, let's take an example for a second. The movie Troll 2. Mm-hmm. Famously bad movie. Mm-hmm. And I am not going to defend that movie in any way. But after learning what I've learned about Italian cinema and Italian sequels, like rip-off sequels of movies, and just kind of how their whole film industry operates, like, everything that is bad about that movie makes sense now.
Right.
Like, it is in reality, it is a clash of cultures combined with, honestly, a nonsense story. Like, that is one, like, Italian movie that I cannot defend
Right.
in any way, shape, or form. But I mean, going into it, having that knowledge, it changes the way that you view the movie, and you kind of understand, like, okay, why does the dialogue sound like that? Why are they having conversations about this stupid thing? Things like that.
And I think that we can laugh at bad movies and they can be funny. There's nothing, like, wrong with that. Like, Chopping Mall will forever be one of my favorite films of all time. It's hilarious, and I will watch it again and again and again, and I love it. But I have an appreciation for the genre as well that I think a lot of podcasts are missing. Like, they don't have an appreciation from the genre. They look at it, is it a Marvel film? Is it manufactured by, such and such studio? Or is it a creative piece of art that, might be
getting
comical?
on our soapbox now.
But I know, I feel a little on it. But, I mean, I just think even, too, about, like, Joe Bob's show. Like, he makes fun of the movies, but he has this, like, deep appreciation for each film that he watches.
Yeah, and, like, the effort that went into making it, despite,
And I respect that, and I think that's what I want this podcast to be, focusing on respecting the genre as a whole, despite, some of the laughable moments that are there, and there's nothing wrong with laughing at those.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, like, these movies are by no means going to win an Oscar any day of the week, even though the Oscars are stupid and not a real test of anything.
No.
We're going to ride that bandwagon. But I think it's stupid when people say that a movie is their guilty pleasure.
Right.
Like, just say that you like it.
Right. There's you have to like it if you're going to be watching it.
Right.
Like, and talking about it on a podcast. Even if you're making fun of it, there's something down there inside of you. Now just learn to appreciate that.
Yeah. And there are other people out there who appreciate it.
Right.
And just because half of the internet hates a filmmaker and hates their version of whatever story, not to name any names, all I'm trying to say is there are other people who like it out there also.
Right.
They might like it for different reasons. But just because some people are saying it's bad shouldn't stop you from enjoying it or appreciating it for what it is.
Right.
And you know what? If you think that Spookies is God's gift to humanity in cinema,
you're right.
More power to you. Like, I'm not going to disagree with you because there are some incredible moments in that movie that just are a product of how it was made.
Yes.
I think we spend too much time looking at intent for what something is rather than looking at something for, like, what it is.
Yeah.
And just accepting it for it.
Right.
And I think that was kind of like the main point that I was going to make during, like, our horror comedy special, is that intent is stupid. Like, don't look at intent. Just look at it for what it is.
Right.
If someone set out to make a horror comedy and they failed, like, you know what? Don't look at it through that lens.
Right.
Look at it for the finished product.
Right.
And appreciate the work that went into it. Because chances are good, other people who are making podcasts are people like you and me sitting around in our couches saying, I could make a better movie than that. It's like the people who sit there who've never played football a day in their life and yell at the ref. And it's like, okay, why don't, you're not out there. Yeah, right. Anyways, I feel like we said a lot of things on a soapbox, but that's...
well, I'm proud of my soapbox, so...
No, I'm not going to shy away from our opinion of anything. And you know what? If there are people who disagree with us, like, great, like, disagree with us, but keep listening because we want people who agree with us and we want people who disagree with us. Just as long as there are people out there who love these movies the same way that we do.
Yeah.
Or if they appreciate what we have to say about these movies, even if they don't like them, that's fine too. This is kind of turning into, like, a weird manifesto for, like, what our podcast is about. But yeah, I guess I'm gonna calm down.
All right. We'll get off our soapbox now.
We will get off our soapbox. All that to say, Frightmare. Not going on my top 10.
No.
I have so many movies that we need to watch. But I kind of like... I kind of want to, like, rewatch it soon-ish.
Yeah, we should.
I don't know.
We should.
Do you have any follow-up thoughts?
No. I mean, I think this movie deserves more credit than what it gets.
Absolutely. This is a movie that deserves to be seen by more people.
Yes.
And since we're doing this back to back with House 2 recording, definitely deserves to be seen more than House 2.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm actually starting to really appreciate the trauma movies that Vinegar Syndrome releases because it is opening my eyes to better trauma movies that I did not realize that they distributed or produced. I don't really I haven't figured out all of that relationship yet. Or the relationship with trauma in a lot of these movies. But like, you know, going from like street trash, which I was like, this is not a pleasant movie to watch and was kind of hard to watch.
Yeah.
To seeing stuff like this or like even Sugar Cookies. I really liked Sugar Cookies. Trauma's War, that was a fun one too, even though it was a lot to take in. You know, it kind of made me excited to watch some more from them. And go watch Frightmare.
Go watch Frightmare.
And oh wait, I'm closing up everything. I got to read my closing bits. Do you have anything else that you want to say on top of all of that while I'm opening this up?
No, just I think Frightmare should be the movie you watch this week.
Yeah, we had a Blu-ray copy from Vinegar Syndrome, so that might be how you have to watch it. But you know, or go watch something else. Go watch something trashy. That's fun. I like watching trashy movies. You laugh, but I mean, what are we going to go watch after this?
I know.
Thank you guys for listening. Thank you for listening to our rant and our manifesto and our thoughts on Frightmare. As always, we want you to hit that subscribe button in Apple Podcast or Spotify or wherever you listen because we don't want anyone to miss an episode. This is the only thing I'm ever going to say about the pandemic. But since things are still kind of on lockdown, I'm still working from home. I want you to spend your hours listening to our sweet voices. We're on Instagram and Twitter at Journey Into Film. And if you want to support the show, head over to patreon.com/ajourneyintofilm. There's some money our way so we can get some coffee and be energetic for our podcast recording. You can head over to TeePublic, check out some of the sweet merch that we have available, and those links are available in the show notes. And as always, as we said before, never let anyone tell you that a film you enjoy is bad because they're probably wrong.
Talk to you real soon.